All right, today we're heading way, way up into the Andes Mountains to explore one of the most incredible empires in all of history, the Inca. These guys built a huge, powerful civilization in a place that most of us would think is, well, pretty much impossible to live in. So that's the big question for today, isn't it? How on earth, with no modern technology, did the Inca manage to not just survive, but build a massive, sophisticated empire at extreme altitudes? It's an amazing story. Okay, let's get into it. So first things first, the Incas were, hands down, the most powerful empire in ancient South America. Their heartland was in modern-day Peru, spread all across the vast Andes mountain range. And they were at their absolute peak between about 1400 and 1530. Now let's really talk about their home turf for a second. The Andes Mountains are no joke. We're talking about super steep slopes, really thin air, and some pretty extreme weather. This environment was just a huge challenge for, every single part of life. And to put a number on it, a lot of the Inca cities were at an average of 11,000 feet above sea level. I mean, think about that. At that kind of altitude, farming is incredibly tough, construction is a monumental task, and even something as simple as breathing can be a real struggle. So how did they pull it off? Well, here's where the Inca genius really starts to shine. Instead of just seeing the mountains as one big obstacle, they flipped the script. They saw opportunities. That tough terrain, it was a natural fortress that protected them from enemies. The cooler climate up there, perfect for growing certain kinds of crops. And they had access to all sorts of unique resources you only find in the mountains. They didn't fight their environment, they worked with it. And that whole mindset led them to become some of the most brilliant engineers the ancient world has ever seen. To connect their massive empire and feed all their people, the Inca were true masters, coming up with solutions to problems that seem almost impossible even today. Let's just start with this mind-blowing number, 40,000 kilometers. That's how long their road system was. That's enough road to wrap around the entire planet. And this wasn't just a bunch of dirt paths. This was a super advanced network that was the literal backbone of their empire. This road system was basically the circulatory system for the whole empire. It connected every single corner of it, from the highest mountaintops down to the dense jungles and all the way to the coast. They built these incredible suspension bridges out of rope and sturdy stone pathways. This whole network was absolutely essential for moving their armies, for trade, and maybe most important of all, for communication. And here's how they used those roads for communication. They had this amazing system with elite runners called chasqui. It was basically a massive relay race. A message could travel up to 240 kilometers in a single day, just passed from one runner to the next. That's like sending a physical note from New York City to Philadelphia in 24 hours, all on foot, over mountains. It was their version of the internet, giving the emperor almost real-time control over his huge kingdom. Okay, so they solved travel and communication. That's incredible. But that leads to an even more basic question. With millions of people living on these super steep slopes, how on earth did they grow enough food to feed everybody? And the answer was another stroke of absolute genius: terrace farming. The Incas literally reshaped the mountainsides. They carved these huge step-like platforms, the terraces, directly into the slopes. And just like that, they created flat, fertile farmland where none existed before. And the best part is, this system solved a bunch of problems all at once. The terraces gave them the flat land they needed. The stone walls they built to hold the terraces up, those prevented all the soil from washing away when it rained. Plus, they built these incredibly sophisticated irrigation channels to control the water flow perfectly. It was a complete, sustainable solution that let them grow tons of potatoes, corn, and quinoa. So you take all of this incredible engineering, all of this agricultural skill, and it all comes together in their most famous creation. If you really want to see the ultimate symbol of the Incas' ability to master the mountains, you have to look at Machu Picchu, the legendary city in the clouds. This place is just unreal. It's built on this crazy remote mountain ridge, and it was hidden from the rest of the world for centuries until it was rediscovered in 1911. We're still debating what it was used for, maybe a royal estate or a sacred site, but there's no debating its status today as one of the new seven wonders of the world. A true testament to their skill.
After centuries of mastering this tough environment, you'd probably think the Inca Empire was invincible. But its end didn't come from the mountains they had conquered. It came from the outside world. And it happened with shocking speed. I mean, just look at this timeline. You have over a century of incredible growth and power, and then the Spanish conquistadors, led by Francisco Pizarro, show up. Within just a few years, the most powerful empire in the Americas was just gone. So what happened? It was basically a perfect storm. The Spanish brought new diseases like smallpox, which the Inca had no immunity to, and it just devastated their population. This happened at the exact same time the empire was already weakened by a brutal civil war between two brothers fighting for the throne. And on top of all that, the Spanish had steel armor and firearms. It was all just too much at once.
But despite that sudden fall, the legacy of the Inca is just undeniable, and this quote really gets to the heart of it. Without the wheel for transport, without a written language like we have, and without iron tools, they still managed to build one of the most sophisticated and well-run empires in history. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? The Inca civilization is this powerful reminder of what human ingenuity can accomplish against incredible odds. Their whole story of adapting to and mastering such a harsh environment, it really makes you wonder, for us today,